YouTube family, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ty, and here we talk about fashion, fragrance, and a variety of lifestyle topics. So if that type of content interests you, consider subscribing. That way you're notified every time I post a new video. Today, back with another fragrance review for 3 fragrances that I recently picked up from Joe Milano Paris. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about Joe Milano Paris, y'all, so I'm really excited to talk about this one today. I'm going to jump into my initial impression on how these ones smell, talk a little bit about the quality and price, and then we'll finish off with my final thoughts, assessment, and if I purchase these ones. So, that sounds exciting to you all. Let's jump right into it. So, each of these fragrances are within Joe Milano's Game of Spades lineup, which are inspired by a number of different well-known fragrances. So, again, really excited to check these ones out. We're going to start with Game of Spades Jackpot. So this one here, if I remember correctly, is inspired by Xerjoff's Herba Pure, which is a fragrance that I like. I don't love, but nonetheless, it is a really good fragrance. So see how this one smells. Okay. Okay, so it's been a while since I smelled Herba Pure, but from what I remember, this one is pretty close. And what you get with this scent here is fruity, very fruity, sweet, slightly fresh, but a very fruity and sweet fragrance, kind of from initial spray throughout. So I think there are a number of different fruit notes, or there's like melon in here as well, then dries down to, some vanilla, amber, um, and just more of a sweet base. So this one's good. Again, not my favorite DNA in general. Definitely unisex, but to me leans a little bit more feminine, but not always a bad thing, right? So I've never had the desire to pick up Herba Pure from Xerjoff, but at the price point that these fragrances come in at, I would consider, buying this one. It wouldn't be at the top of my list, but so if I had to give this one a rating, y'all, I'd give it a 7 or a 7.5 out of 10. And that's not a knock to this one. It's just not quite my style, not quite my vibe in terms of the DNA in general. But very smooth, blended very well, high quality, and it smells good. But again, just not something I'd reach for often. Okay, moving into the next one, we have Game of Spades Royale. So this is one that I'm definitely excited about as well because if I remember correctly, this is inspired by Bond Number Nine's Tribeca. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, this one's good. So Tribeca by Bond Number Nine is a fragrance that I have smelled, I've sampled a number of times. Smells really good. And what you're getting with Royale is something that's very, very, very similar. So essentially, this fragrance is, to me, reminds me a lot of Baccarat Rouge by MFK, but this one's a little sweeter, has more of a gourmand touch, and honestly, I prefer this DNA a bit more than Baccarat these days. So I think you have notes of like caramel, cacao. There's like a hazelnut note in here as well. So really good. This one smells, similar to the first one. Quality is there, but it just smells really amazing. And if I have to give this one a rating, kind of off the initial impression, this one smells really good. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, so this is one I definitely would take that back. This is one I definitely will buy. And if I have to give it a rating, I'd say this is an 8.5. Yeah, this is a 9 out of 10. This is a really good fragrance. And I did spray this one yesterday on skin, so I'm just reliving it a little bit here today. But dries down, really well, and longevity, is definitely something that's really good with this one, but also with the other two as well. So all 3 of these fragrances are parfum concentration, so while they may sit a little closer to skin, they definitely have that lasting power and, give you really good performance, or at least I've gotten good performance initially with these three. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we have Game of Spades Wildcard. And this was the one of the three that I was most excited about, because this one is inspired by Bond Number Nine's Lafayette Street. So that fragrance is one that is, fresh, kind of soapy. It's a little sweet. There's some florals in there. Just smells really good. Super versatile. Can wear it year round. But at the same time, it's kind of simplistic, which isn't a bad thing. But for that reason, I just couldn't commit to buying a full bottle of Lafayette Street by Bond Number Nine, though I really do like the scent. And with this one, you're getting. Oh yeah, this one smells good. I actually wore this one last night for date night, so very familiar with it, and definitely got a few compliments last night with it as well. This one smells really good and smells very, very, very close to the original. So I do have a decant of Lafayette Street by Bond Number Nine. I did sort of a kind of side to side comparison with them yesterday briefly, and very hard to detect the difference. Wildcard does an amazing job in terms of, being inspired by Lafayette Street. And again, performance, projection, really good, at least, like I said, with the first initial wearing. Can't speak to the full, kind of range of how these ones will perform or how this one will perform. But let's get into the rating for Wildcard. Again, initial impressions. Guys, this one here, fire. Definitely 9.5 out of 10 for me, and one I'm absolutely going to pick up. Again, really have always enjoyed Lafayette Street by Bond Number Nine. Just never wanted to commit to buying a full bottle, but this solves that issue for me. So definitely picking up a bottle of this probably will be my next purchase, actually. So 9.5 out of 10. This one's really good. Definitely would recommend checking out. So let's jump into pricing real quick. So when looking at each of the fragrances within Joe Milano's Game of Spades lineup, for a full bottle, which would be a 100 ml presentation, you're looking at $220, which is definitely a little pricey. So I would definitely recommend checking out the discounters, specifically Joma Shop and FragranceNet.com. So FragranceNet is actually where I picked up these samples at. And, typically between those two, and I think even Amazon, also has these fragrances as well. You can find these, for a full bottle, you can find them anywhere between that $60 and $90 price point. And again, when factoring in the quality that you're getting here and also just how close these ones are, to the originals that they're inspired by, I think it makes, Joe Milano and the Game of Spades lineup, really solid options and some great alternatives to definitely consider. So as we wrap up today's review, definitely recommend you all checking out Joe Milano's Game of Spades line. Again, these are only 3 fragrances from that line. There are a number of other fragrances within that lineup that I've also heard good things about. I think there's one called Boston that is a fragrance that's inspired by Bond Number Nine's Scent of Peace for Him. So definitely I wanna check out at some point. But nonetheless, these 3 here, y'all, really 3 solid, really good options, really good alternatives to some of the originals that we mentioned. So we'll definitely be picking up a full bottle of the Wildcard, and we'll say look forward to a full review from that one soon once I get that full bottle in here. And then, as we get closer to some cooler weather and, closer to the fall time, I'll also be picking up a full bottle of this Royale here. Really good fragrance. Again, kind of mirrors MFK's Baccarat Rouge, but a bit of a more gourmand touch to it. So that's going to wrap up today's review, y'all. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you've ever tried anything from Joe Milano Paris, the Game of Spades line specifically, please leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts and experience with that fragrance. I'd love to hear about it. And as always, peace and love. I'll see you all next time.